In the huge, quiet space of a forgotten desert, the wind tells stories of times long past. For hundreds of years, traveling groups talked about a place where stone giants slept under the sand, a city built not by people but by the stars themselves. These were just thought of as old tales, fun stories from people used to seeing things that weren't really there in the hot desert. It wasn't until the early 1900s that a determined group of explorers, guided by an old torn map and local stories, went into this lonely heartland. And what they found there would not only prove the old stories true, but would also make us rethink what we know about the ancient world. A huge sandstorm, a wild storm that lasted for 3 days, 3 nights, acted like an accidental archaeologist. It was a single giant block of cut stone, carved with patterns unlike any seen before. This wasn't natural. It was made by smart hands. This amazing building, now called the Sunstone Citadel, was the best work of the mysterious Solarian people. Living over 5,000 years ago, the Solarians were a people deeply connected to space. Their records, carefully carved into clay tablets found in nearby towns, talk about a society that followed the movements of the sun, moon, stars. They were experts in stars, builders, artists of the highest skill. The Citadel was their greatest success, a sign of their knowledge and their place in the universe. But the tablets didn't say how they built it, leaving a puzzling silence that has lasted through the ages. The first discovery was just the start of a huge project. As digging teams slowly and carefully brushed away the sand of time, the true size of the Sunstone Citadel started to appear. It wasn't just one building, but a large area of connected halls, tall stone pillars, fancy courtyards, all put together with amazing accuracy. The world watched in wonder as this ghost from the past appeared from the desert floor. It was a silent stone giant that asked a big question. How could a group of people thought to only have the simplest tools create something so big, so complex, so perfectly lasting? The journey to answer that had just begun. The sheer size of the Sunstone Citadel is almost too big to understand. It is, simply put, a mountain changed by human effort. The main tower alone rises over 200 meters from the desert floor, taller than any other known building from its time. It's made of countless huge stone blocks, the biggest of which are thought to weigh over 1,000 tons. That's like several modern passenger planes. What is perhaps even more amazing than its size is how accurately it was built. The huge stone blocks fit together without any glue, so perfectly joined that not even a thin blade of grass can be slipped between them. And across these surfaces run perfectly straight lines, perfect right angles made over hundreds of meters. This level of accuracy suggests a deep understanding of shapes and measuring techniques that, according to our history books, shouldn't have existed for another 2,000 years. The materials themselves also present a big puzzle. The main stone is a type of hard quartz-filled diorite, one of the hardest stones on Earth. Modern builders would need diamond-tipped drills, strong lasers to cut and shape such material with the skill seen in the Citadel. Yet the Solarians, with their supposed copper tools, bronze tools, carved it like clay. Also woven into the stone walls are thin metal threads. Tests have shown them to be a special mix of platinum threads, iridium threads, metals that need incredibly high heat to melt and process, temperatures far beyond what a simple ancient oven could ever hope to make. The Sunstone Citadel isn't just placed randomly, it's a fancy star-watching place, a giant clock built to track the sky. On the day of the summer solstice, when the sun is highest, a single beam of light goes through a small opening at the top of the main tower. It travels down a long, dark shaft and lights up a small, beautifully carved crystal on an altar deep inside the Citadel. This event marks the start of the Solarian New Year, a moment of perfect sky balance. This is just one of many sky alignments. Different hallways, windows, tall stone pillars are pointed exactly to mark when specific stars and star groups like Orion, the Pleiades, rise and set on important dates. Some alignments are so complex that they only happen once every few decades, or even hundreds of years, suggesting the builders understood how the sky worked for a very long time. They weren't just watching the sky, they were putting its rhythm into the very structure of their greatest creation. The whole building acts as a calendar, a clock, and a holy map of the universe, connecting the lives of people on Earth to the grand, quiet dance of the sky above. How did they get such perfect accuracy? This means they knew trigonometry, spherical geometry, which historians have long thought were developed much later by the ancient Greeks. One of the most confusing parts is a room called the Star Room. Its ceiling is a dome of dark, polished stone with thousands of small, glowing crystals set into it. When the room is closed, these crystals glow softly, perfectly showing the night sky as it would have looked 5,000 years ago. But it doesn't just show the stars you can see with your eyes, it also includes sky objects that can only be seen with a telescope. It's an amazing, unexplainable map of the sky, one that seems to go against the technology limits of its time. This room, more than any other, whispers of lost knowledge that goes beyond what we currently understand about the past. Dr. Aris Thorne, who has led the digging at the Sunstone Citadel for the past 20 years, often talks about the site with a mix of respect and, well, frustration. "Every day here is a lesson in being humble," he once said, standing in the shadow of a tall stone pillar. "We come with our modern ideas and our fancy tools, and this place calmly and quietly shows us how little we actually know." During the digging of the lower levels, archaeologists made a surprising discovery. Buried under the main open area, they found a series of connected tunnels, too small for people to comfortably move through. Inside these tunnels, they found what looked like workshop remains. No sign of large chisels, hammers, levers, the tools you'd expect for a project this big. Instead, they found small crystal objects with very sharp edges, these strange vibrating qualities. When hit, these objects vibrate at a very high speed. Some thinkers have suggested they were part of a sound toolkit used to somehow soften or cut the hard diorite stone with sound waves. The history information from the digging is just as confusing. The Solarian civilization seems to have appeared suddenly, with no clear time of development. Their earliest towns show signs of advanced building plans right from the start. It's as if they arrived with a complete plan for their society and its huge creations. Then, after almost 500 years of doing well, they disappeared just as suddenly. No signs of war, hunger, natural disaster. The city was simply left for the desert sands to cover again, their amazing knowledge seemingly disappearing with them. The main question that echoes through the halls of the Sunstone Citadel is a simple one. How? How did a Bronze Age society with a population thought to be no more than 50,000 people achieve this huge building feat? Think about cutting a single 1,000-ton block. It would need an army of workers just to cut it from the rock. Then comes the problem of moving it. Moving such a heavy weight over 100 kilometers of desert and hills seems impossible with only ropes, wooden rollers, and animal or human strength. No sign of huge ramps or raised roads has ever been found along the route. Lifting these giant blocks hundreds of meters into the air and placing them with tiny accuracy is a task that would challenge the world's most powerful modern cranes. Normal ideas involving dirt ramps become impossible at such heights. The ramp would need to be bigger and heavier than the citadel itself, needing a huge amount of work and materials, of which there is no trace. Today, the search to understand the Sunstone Citadel is entering a new and, honestly, pretty exciting stage, powered by technologies the Solarians could never have imagined. Where picks and brushes once ruled, teams are now using a set of advanced digital tools to look into the Citadel's deepest secrets. High-quality satellite pictures, ground-penetrating radar, map what still lies hidden under the sand, revealing the complex without moving a single grain. These scans have hinted at a huge network of underground rooms and waterways, promising new ways for future exploration and discovery. Inside the building, laser scanning, photogrammetry are creating perfect three-dimensional digital models of the citadel. Perhaps the most promising new tool is artificial intelligence. AI is being taught to analyze the enormous datasets from the site, finding tiny patterns in tool marks, deciphering complex shape relationships. Robots promise to push exploration further. Small, snake-like robots are being designed to traverse narrow tunnels beneath the citadel, equipped with cameras, sensors, and grabbers. Through this mix of ancient mystery and modern technology, we're on the edge of finally understanding how this impossible building was made. The Sunstone Citadel does more than just challenge what we know about building, it makes us rethink our whole story of human history. For too long, we have seen the past as a simple, straight line from simple to advanced. The Solarians, with their impossible, huge buildings, show us that history is much more complex and mysterious. Their story suggests that great heights of knowledge and technical achievement may have been reached and then lost like bright flashes of light in the long night of time. The Citadel is a strong reminder that we are a species with a hidden and perhaps much more amazing history than we give ourselves credit for. This magnificent building is a monument to the lasting spirit of human new ideas. It speaks to a basic urge within our species to push boundaries, to solve impossible problems, to create beautiful and meaningful things that last for thousands of years. The Solarians, faced with the challenge of shaping one of the hardest stones on Earth, did not give up. They found a way. Whether through huge numbers of workers, unmatched cleverness, or a lost science, they reached their goal and left behind a legacy that inspires wonder to this day. It shows that the ability for greatness is not only for modern times, it has been a part of the human journey from the very beginning. As we keep exploring the Citadel with our most advanced tools, we're not just solving an ancient puzzle. We are having a conversation with our ancestors across a gap of 5,000 years. They left us a message written in the language of stone and stars, a message that says, this is what we could achieve. And as we use our drones, our AI, and our robots to understand them, we are answering back, we are still listening. We are still trying to learn from you. This ongoing search connects us to our deepest past and reminds us that seeking knowledge is a timeless, multi-generational effort that defines who we are. The Sunstone Citadel stands today, shining in the desert sun, as a symbol of all that we have yet to learn. It teaches us that the past is not a closed book, but a huge, unknown territory still full of wonders waiting to be found. It encourages us to stay curious, to question what we think we know, and to be open to the possibility that our ancestors were much more capable than we ever imagined. The greatest lesson of this ancient, huge building is one of deep hope. If our past is so much richer than we thought, imagine what amazing things our future might hold. It encourages us to stay curious, to question what we think we know, and to be open to the possibility that our ancestors were much more capable than we ever imagined. As Dr. Lena Petrova noted, the evidence in the stone doesn't lie. We must be willing to think that they had a technology we simply don't understand. The Solarians may not have had engines or electricity, but they clearly had a deep and effective science of their own. Their knowledge was simply different from ours, a lost chapter in the story of human new ideas that we have yet to read. And as we use our drones, our AI, and our robots to understand them, we are answering back, we are still listening, we are still trying to learn from you. This ongoing search connects us to our deepest past and reminds us that seeking knowledge is a timeless, multi-generational effort that defines who we are. The Sunstone Citadel stands today as a symbol of all that we have yet to learn, teaching us that the past is not a closed book, but a huge, unknown territory still full of wonders waiting to be found. If our past is so much richer than we thought, imagine what amazing things our future might hold. The journey of discovery, it seems, has only just begun.